Alright, so we're going to be doing the rear brake caliper and brake pads. My old one, this was not working, so we're going to replace it. A couple pointers. I'm going to add some brake fluid to this guy before I put him on. That's going to help to bleed out most of the air. Put this cover back on, keep the seal, loosen these, and go ahead and loosen this slightly to make sure that it's not too tight. Sometimes when you don't have the space up top, once it's in, it's very difficult. So that's my pointer for that. And the next one, if you have a dually, get a hook, and I'm gonna get it in here, and that's how you do that. So right now we're moving the caliper, which are 2 bolts, and those are pretty straightforward. They come off pretty nice, or nicely. Now the hardest one is going to be the caliper hold down, which are the 2 large ones. You might have to use a torch and heat the bolts just in case they do get a little stubborn. So you'll have to kind of improvise. Now, to get your caliper off, you will have to use a screwdriver and add some force onto those pads to push the caliper back. My caliper was damaged, so I wasn't really too concerned about damaging anything on it. In fact, once it is off, you'll see that a portion of it got damaged. I don't think it happened for me, but it was damaged. So if you're keeping your caliper, do not force it up. You will damage it. So I was replacing caliper and brake pads. Now, you will pretty much see what I do. I also have a video on the front, which will be coming out as well. And pretty straightforward. I mean, you save a lot of money doing your brakes yourself. Just make sure you torque everything to specs, which I included. I did not show the torque. My torque wrench was way long, so I had to do it after, but I included the specs. So make sure you do that and take your time, and you can definitely do it. All right, so you can see right there one of the pistons on the caliper is damaged. Now those pads come out. It's pretty straightforward. Now I like to add just a little bit of grease at the end of the pads, and that helps in the sliding and the movement because we do have springs, so it keeps any corrosion and whatnot away. So keep that in mind as well. Now you might need to use a hammer and a breaker bar on those lower ones. I was able to use the impact on the bottom. The top one was too tight, so you might have to use something else to get that out. So, pretty straightforward. Just follow along. Also use some penetrant oil, as you can see, which helps to loosen them. Using a breaker bar pretty much here, very tight angle, not a lot of leverage, so you have to improvise, and this does a great job in breaking those bolts loose. Those two were bad on mine, at least one of them was. And make sure you, even on the new ones, go ahead and add just a little bit of grease on those to give longer life. I did that, you'll see that as well. So that was what was bad on mine. So that's what I'm doing, is adding the grease, and also put some into the cup, and that will be basically almost like a reserve. Now, you do not want to put too much now, because now you have what you call a suction. So you might have to remove some if it's too much. The pin, it needs to slide in and out. Keep that in mind. So it cannot be too tight, but it will move. And of course, it's going to heat up. And make sure the dust cap, that rubber, is fully seated on the top and the bottom to keep out dust and dirt and moisture. And of course, do that on both of them. Now, I put just a little bit of grease just on the base or the head, not for anything other than moisture, so they don't basically rust it on. And they already have Loctite, especially from the heat. The Loctite basically is still fresh, and so still have plenty on there. And a little bit of grease there, and you're good to go.
Phil's friend is in jail. Pete? He's in jail. For what? Contempt. Bond it out.
Don't just leave. So yeah.
If you take the shit apart and you put it back together, you know where every single part is.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, pretty straightforward. I enjoy.
All right, so for this, go ahead and have your socket, everything ready. Get your bolt and the washer ready before you remove your old brake line from the caliper. And then once everything is removed, you're going to have everything ready and ready to go. That's the quickest way. Have a towel or something down to catch any excess fluid, because you will lose some. And it'll be a lot easier and faster and no mess. Putting in the pads right now, they slide right on in. And I will show the old one with some in, just in case if you need just a little pointer, but they pretty much fall right on in. Can't mess it up.
Sure.
Alright, so now this is the caliper. Caliper does have some weight to it, so if you can support it, it's even better. Or have a bucket or whatever you can to support it as you release or undo the screw, or the bolt I should say. And what you're going to do, as soon as you get the bolt out, you can have your other bolt ready to go. Now, one washer goes top and one goes to the bottom. And as soon as you get it loosened, then you can finish taking it off. Your hand, or you might get wet or get slippery, so you might need to use a rag to get it off a little bit faster. So, all right, keep that in mind. Now I'm trying to align the screw, the caliper to the caliper base, and get everybody snugged up. You will have to make sure you squeeze the pads in just a little bit, because you do have a little bit of springy to them. So squeeze them as you lower the caliper onto the housing.
All right, go ahead and pump the brake. All right, press and hold. Pump again. All right, hold it.
Wrapping up, we're going to be doing the
Pump again.
bleeding, so enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks for
Keep
watching.
pumping. Now pump hard and hold it. There you go, you need more hard push. Okay, pump up again. Pump and release about 4 times. And push it all the way down and hold it. Okay, pump again. Holding it. Okay, beautiful. Make sure that you get your rim fully over that collar before you actually start torquing them down, and you should be able to push the rim, shake it, and get it on before you actually put all the torque that you need on them. You don't want to get a false set, so everybody should be on nice and evenly around. Pretty much you can check the heads of the studs and make sure that everybody's pretty much seated evenly, and then you can start torquing down. All right.